Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because today we're diving deep into a topic that often gets overlooked in emergency prep: edge tools. When people talk about survival or crisis readiness, the conversation tends to focus on food, water, weapons, maybe some fire-starting gear. But one category of tools that can truly mean the difference between thriving and barely surviving is cutting tools. Specifically, axes, machetes, and saws. These might not sound as glamorous as a tricked-out bug-out rifle or a high-end tactical backpack, but in a real-world crisis, be it natural disaster, wilderness survival, or societal breakdown, having the right blade can save your life. So today we're going to break down the roles of axes, machetes, and saws, discuss their pros and cons, look at real-life scenarios where each shines, and finally help you decide what's best for your own survival strategy. We'll look at weight, portability, efficiency, and how these tools fit into both urban and wilderness survival environments. Ready to cut through the confusion? Let's get started. The role of edge tools in a crisis. Before we jump into the details of each tool, let's first understand why edge tools are so essential in a crisis. Imagine you've bugged out into the woods after a major power grid failure or flood. You need shelter, firewood, perhaps even to clear a path or defend yourself. Maybe you're stuck in an urban area where collapsed structures and debris block your path. In both scenarios, cutting, chopping, clearing, or crafting tools and shelters becomes mission critical. That's where these tools come in, not just as accessories, but as lifelines. You can think of them as your crisis multi-tools. They help you process resources, manipulate your environment, and gain control in a chaotic situation. Axes, machetes, and saws each have unique strengths. The key is to understand them well enough to know which tool suits which mission and how to balance capability with weight and packability. Axes, the power chopper. Let's start with the most iconic survival tool, the axe. Axes have been around since the Stone Age, and for good reason. They're durable, versatile, and brutally effective when it comes to chopping wood, splitting logs, building shelters, and felling trees. In cold or forested environments, axes become indispensable. If you need a fire, you'll be splitting kindling. If you need a shelter, you'll be cutting branches. If you need to build traps or tools, an axe gives you the edge, literally. There are a few main types of axes you'll encounter in the survival world. The hatchet is small and lightweight, usually under 1.5 pounds, and can be carried on a belt or inside a pack. It's great for light-duty work, carving, making feather sticks, small limb removal. Then you have camp axes, which are mid-size and offer a better balance between chopping power and portability. Finally, there are full-size axes, which are better suited to heavy wood processing but are obviously harder to carry around. Pros of axes: raw power. You can split logs like butter with a good axe. They're also more durable than machetes in cold climates where green wood is harder and denser. However, they come with downsides too. Axes are heavy, not great for brush clearing, and they can be dangerous if you're not trained. A missed strike with an axe can lead to a serious injury. In a crisis where long-term survival in a forested, cold environment is likely, an axe becomes a must-have. But in a tropical or urban setting, it might be more weight than it's worth. Machetes, the jungle king. Now let's talk about machetes, the kings of the tropics and the go-to tool in many parts of the world. A machete is essentially a long, thin blade designed for slicing through vegetation. Think of it as a hybrid between a knife and a sword. Lightweight, versatile, and fast. Machetes thrive in warm climates where you're dealing with vines, palm, bamboo, or softwoods. You can use them to clear trails, process small trees, chop food, and even defend yourself if needed. There are different styles of machetes, each designed for specific environments. The Latin machete is the classic straight blade, great for general use. The kukri has a forward curve, adding weight and power to the swing. The bola machete, popular in Southeast Asia, is designed for agricultural and survival use. Then there's the paring, which is heavy enough for chopping but agile enough for slicing. Machetes shine when it comes to clearing brush, preparing camp, and cutting through soft or green vegetation. They're much lighter than axes, easier to carry, and can even substitute as large knives. In wet, warm environments, they're hands down superior, but they're not perfect. Machetes struggle with hardwoods and are not the best choice for splitting logs or building heavy-duty shelters. Also, poor quality machetes can bend or break easily. If your survival plan takes you through jungle, subtropical forests, or warm rural areas, a machete may well be the most important tool in your arsenal. It's the ultimate move fast and stay light option. Saws, the precision cutter. Next up, we've got the saw, the underrated workhorse of the survival world. At first glance, saws don't have the raw appeal of axes or machetes. They're not flashy, they're not weapon-like, and they don't scream survival. But don't be fooled. A good folding or bow saw can outperform both an axe and a machete in terms of efficiency and safety when it comes to cutting wood. Let's say you need to cut a 6-inch log into pieces for a fire. With an axe, you're looking at multiple hard swings, a lot of noise, and a good chance of injury. With a folding saw, you just sit down and zip through it in 30 seconds, with minimal energy spent. In real-life tests, saws have consistently shown to be the most efficient and safest way to process firewood or build a shelter. There are two main kinds you'll find in survival kits. Folding saws like the Silky Gomboy or Bako Laplander, which are compact and ultra-sharp, and collapsible bow saws, which are larger but capable of serious cutting. The trade-off is that saws don't have the multi-use appeal of machetes and can't split logs like an axe. They're also not effective for clearing brush. In temperate zones, long-term survival, or stealth situations, saws are king. They're quiet, effective, and low risk. Combine a saw with a knife or light hatchet, and you've got a balanced, powerful tool set. Scenario comparisons with tool wins. Now that we've covered the core tools, let's walk through some real-world crisis scenarios and analyze which tool makes the most sense. 1. Wilderness bug out in cold climate. You're in northern Canada or Scandinavia. It's below freezing and you need fire every day. Here, the axe wins. You'll need to split dense hardwoods, build insulated shelters, and possibly fell trees. A saw complements an axe well here, but a machete. It won't help much with frozen pine or birch. 2. Tropical jungle escape. Let's say you fled into the backcountry of Southeast Asia or South America. The terrain is dense with vines, bamboo, and softwood trees. The machete is your best friend. Lightweight, fast, and versatile, it's ideal for clearing your way and processing material. Axes are heavy and awkward here, and saws get gummed up fast. 3. Urban crisis, earthquake, or collapse. In urban setting, you're navigating collapsed buildings, cars, and overgrown lots. Here, a saw takes the lead. You may need to get through wood, drywall, or sheet metal, and a compact folding saw does this quietly and efficiently. A machete could double as a pry tool or light weapon, but axes are less practical unless you're busting doors. 4. Long-term wilderness living. This is the build a homestead scenario. You're off-grid for months. In this case, the best combo is probably axe plus saw. The axe handles heavy lifting and shelter building, while the saw processes lumber efficiently and quietly. Machetes can supplement for food prep or small clearing. 5. On the move, fast and light. If you're covering ground daily with no fixed base, weight is your enemy. In this case, a machete is best. It's a multi-tool that can chop, slice, and defend if needed. Add a small folding saw or multi-tool knife, and you got high mobility with decent capability. So the question becomes, which one should you carry? Ideally, you want all three. But weight and space say otherwise. The right answer depends on your climate, mission, and pack size. A common strategy is the two-tool combo approach. For cold environments, axe plus saw. For warm climates, machete plus saw. If you can only carry one, go with a tool that matches your terrain. Axe for forest, machete for jungle, saw for urban, or all-around versatility. And don't forget, blade quality matters. A cheap axe or machete can be worse than none at all. Stick to trusted brands: Estwing, Fiskars, Gerber, Silky, Condor, Ontario Knife Company, Bako. These have stood the test of time, maintenance, and safety. Owning the tool is only half the battle. You also need to maintain and handle it properly. A dull blade is not only ineffective, it's dangerous. Keep your edges sharp, handles oiled, and sheaths secure. Know how to swing, chop, and saw safely. Practice before the crisis hits. Injuring yourself in the field due to poor technique can be a death sentence when help is far away. Also, consider redundancy. Pair your large blade with a small utility knife or multi-tool. That way, you have precision and heavy cutting both covered. At the end of the day, the best edge tool in a crisis is the one you have, the one you know how to use, and the one that fits your environment. Axes give you raw power, machetes deliver speed and flexibility, and saws bring quiet, efficient precision. All have their place in the survival toolbox, and none are truly complete without the others. So which one is best for your crisis plan? Let me know in the comments. Do you carry an axe, machete, or saw in your bug-out bag? Or maybe you carry all three? Drop your loadout and tell me why. And if this video helped you sharpen your strategy, give it a like, subscribe for more survival deep dives, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and stay ready.